everybody. If you're watching this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. I'm back for another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Big Dis Energy. Go Blue. I'm just kidding. Season 9, episode 5. Okay. Something has been on my mind before I get into this review, and I will get into it quickly. I know people have, rumors have been swirling about Jamie Foxx in particular and whether or not Diddy drugged him, which, considering the fact that he has not come outright and said no, makes all of us suspicious, and seeing that's within Diddy's frame, it's possible. But I'm going to tell you something that bothers me while we're dealing with Drake, who thinks he can sue over a diss record. And that shit is lame as fuck. And he's showing how half white he is. Jamie Foxx in particular. And I'm not sure how many of y'all were familiar with his Sirius radio show. Back in like the 2010s-ish. But the fact that Jamie Foxx went and did that comedy special in Atlanta has irked me. Because Jamie Foxx has consistently dated white women, given his money to white women. And he does that kind of coonish comedy. Even though I think he's funny, don't get me wrong. But and I liked his show when it was on in the late 90s, early 2000s. But he does that kind of comedy where he's constantly explaining to white people what black people do. And the fact that he goes to Atlanta to kind of rehab, his stand-up career, like this is the black city, I'm going to go prove my blackness. And when he said on that radio show talking about how, when I got my Oscar, it wasn't no big deal to get black girls. I knew black women were easy, this, that, and the other. But then I had bitches with crow's feet like Goldie Hawn talking to me. He didn't say that, but I'm saying that. And I just remember thinking, the way he talks about black women, the fact that he's perpetually giving his money to produce lifestyles for white women and his half-black children, it annoys me that he uses Atlanta that way to come and do his little comedy special in the same way Kendrick got on Drake and was like, "You're not a colleague, you a colonizer." That's just been on my mind, and that's just been on my chest. But yeah, I'm not here for his shit or for the fuck shit. Moving on. All right. Who told Trish, and maybe I've missed this previously, who told Trish to get in front of the cast video at the beginning of the show with that blonde bob wig with no bump? It was given Halloween, but a Halloween wig on November 1st after everything else has been torn up. Anyway, so Destiny moving into a new space for Madani. Destiny is moving into a storage space. And she just should be honest with us about that and just say, I need a place to put my stuff because I've been foreclosed on multiple times for this. You're doing e-commerce, but I'm confused. Girl, just do it in your house and save yourself some money. All right. She is apparently going to make her products in this storage space. I hope there's no fire. Martell is helping her roll a cart because whoever her friend or brother or cousin was that was helping her was the one going to get the boxes. And we all know Martell is a whole bitch. So we don't expect him to do much. All right. That other guy was doing most of the work. My arm is still sore from that Tdap shot. My percussive, and because it was an outbreak of whooping cough. Anyway, that's cool. Anyway, so she's saying she is happy to have her sanity after being arrested and says she hasn't been doing well. I was like, no shit. I told you she done been on the verge of tears the whole time. She needs to go ahead and let it out. But no, it just comes out in catty and angry ways. All right, so her and Maurice got arrested the same week. Then she looks at Martell and was like, I was like, dang, is there a target on Huntsville people? You live in Huntsville, isn't it? Don't you? Oh, you mean the cast? Or all y'all just doing shit to get arrested? Okay, because a lot of y'all shit could be avoided. Y'all making some bad decisions. And I don't even go in on people like that for stuff. But like, don't pull it. Bitch, all of y'all were doing fuck shit. Stop. Okay? So she asked Martell what's going on with him. We don't care, but nevertheless, Martell said, well, I wasn't convicted. She was like, but you were. And he was found guilty, but he's telling us he wasn't found guilty and that the judge didn't even hear the case, but the higher courts will. I said, Martell, if you don't quit playing with me, okay, regardless of whether things are different in different states in terms of laws, where a judge is on the local level, you can't get a judge to throw something out and then send it to a higher court. You can get a judge to make a decision and appeal it to a higher court. Stop. And Destiny, you sitting up there encouraging the foolishness, letting him go on with that BS. And the judge, I can't. I can't. Martell started complaining about how the guys weren't supportive of him and his criminal behavior. I guess not, dummy. Anyway, he's complaining about Marcel speaking on his situation in an interview, and they show it again. And and basically Marcel is like, yeah, well, when you do things like that, there's a place you can go. There's a place for people who put out, revenge porn and videos. There's a place for them to sit a long time and think. And he was basically saying jail is a place where people like him can go. So he said he doesn't understand how Marcel could fix his mouth to say that. How could he not? He runs his mouth about everything else. He ran his mouth about Mel, what she may or may not have been doing and going along with stuff. So miss me with the bullshit. That's the problem. Y'all been encouraging Martell's BS, and now he expects it of you. And yes, we can say he should be a grown man, but we all know Martell is a child and a narcissist and somebody who does not take accountability for anything. Kimmy comes to Mel's mansion. Must be humbling. Anyway, she invited Kimmy over to do exercise that will be helpful to her in her cancer aftermath. It seems like Mel does more of that than her sister-in-law, but that's, Mel, you are messed up. When you gave her that millimeter shirt, I said, okay, girl, you stay working in advertising. I got to give it to you. That's what this show is for. Maybe that's why everybody else's businesses keep failing and yours keep growing. Or at least don't get shut down left and right. Or you have to do it out of a storage space and try to convince us it's a store. Anyway, her lungs are not at the capacity that other people, I guess in her age and gender group, should be operating at, according to Kimmy, after, the chemotherapy. And a piece of me wonders how much of Kimmy's health is Kimmy actually worried about? Or is Kimmy more concerned about how that affects her sex life and therefore Maurice's commitment to her and the marriage? I'm just saying. All right, because your health actually should be at the forefront. All right, and this scene went on way too long. I do not care to watch other people exercise. I really do not. Okay, so Mel's messy ass sits down and says she wants to catch up with Kimmy since the trip. I said, y'all know Mel is about to ask her about that Maurice stuff. It's only a matter of seconds. But Mel asked her about how she felt about the girls' trip. And Kimmy said it was better than I thought, and she was glad that even with the hiccups, people were able to talk it out and address it and move on. And Mel said, honestly, I thought that too, until she brought up how Destiny apologized to her when she was walking past her room back in, whatever island they were on, saying, I'm sorry, with tears in her eyes. But then they came back and she's doing all these interviews. Well, hell, we saw her talking to Martell in the park, lying about how Mel was just so sweet to her after Mel got her together for talking about her mother and saying she pimped her out. Anyway, Destiny is jealous of Mel. Okay? She's jealous of Mel. She wants to compete with Mel, okay, to stifle the jealousy or quell it. And she keeps failing in this invisible race she has against Mel. And she resents Mel instead of her own work ethic, which has a lot to do with why she is where she is. And she's a fake ass bitch at the end of the day. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Next, Mel brings up Maurice. She says, I know firsthand what it is for your spouse to be out here doing something stupid. And it really affects you. I said, damn, Mel. That's a hell of a transition. But Kimmy, you knew the time it was when she invited you over her house. Y'all know how Mel don't like nobody over her house. Anyway, so Mel, miss us with the I like to address things head on. That was an ambush. You went for it. Honestly, just don't try to tell me I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. So Kimmy, you a dumbass if you thought she invited you over her house for any other reason, okay? And Mel is slick with it. She'll invite y'all over her house so she's in power. And she can kick y'all's ass right back down that hill when she get good and ready. So y'all can't kick Mel out. Mel can kick y'all out. And then the other time she meet y'all in the restaurant. All right, well, there'll be a neutral party to kick both of y'all out. And I don't blame her. See, y'all not slick. Y'all not as slick as she is. So, Kimmy said, well, everything our spouses do affect us. Kimmy. Yes, everything I do today will eventually affect everything I do tomorrow. Every time I blink, it affects how dry or how moist my eyes are. Like, miss me. You know what she means. Okay, stop playing stupid. And Kimmy's just acting like, whatever about it. But you could tell it was like the defensive whatever. It wasn't like nothing I can do about it. And she says, my problem with Kimmy, though, especially of late, and I think it may be because I'm noticing it more. And I did go back to that I do remember that first season when they were calling Mel bougie, and it made her cry. And initially, on the surface, it's kind of like, why are you crying? Because people called you bougie. But I think Mel got upset because she felt she was being judged and had been judged that way by women before. And I think was really trying to be like closer friends with them. And when she cried, the lack of empathy Kimmy showed her, yeah. And in my real life, I would never trust anybody after something like that happened. I would never be bothered with them again. Only on a need-to basis, because that's the kind of person I am. But anyway, my problem with Kimmy, especially of late, is that she is always the one speaking out for Maurice. If it's him and Kiowa, if it's him and Monster, she's always the one explaining Maurice's behavior. Maurice did that fake scene with her last week and is telling his own wife in their kitchen, at their table, not even 24 hours later, it appeared like, saying, I can't talk about it. Okay. So bitch, say you can't talk about it. Just say you can't. The fact that you are always over explaining and making excuses for Maurice is sickening. And it's telling what kind of relationship this is. It's one-sided. Because I don't see him doing that for you. Mel has had to deal with so much judgment. And y'all taking Martell's side in public on this show and behind the scenes. And now y'all want to act like when y'all spouse gets into trouble, it's no big deal. Nah, you got to get your talking to on reality TV like everybody else. Nope. All right, so Kimmy said there's a moment in time where her head was all over the place. I was like, a moment? Okay, girl. Until you figure out exactly what happened. And then she said, and now I know exactly what happened. See, that's why you should have just said, I can't talk about it. Okay? Because if you know exactly what happened, what you think? You think people are not going to pry you for the information, dummy? So Mel goes, was it really the middle of the day? Mel and these lack of transitions. Okay. I was like, damn. I mean, getting a DUI at noon is wild. Okay. And it's some dumbass shit. Like, it's really dumb. And I'm sorry. There's no coming back from it. And I want to thank, I can't think of the name off my head, but somebody in the comments last week shared how they lost a son to a drunk driver. And, and I do believe in, giving people second chances, especially when nobody has been harmed. But I certainly, I hope that, me saying, people make mistakes didn't come off as dismissive to that person, because I appreciate them sharing the story, because that helps me take it more seriously. So I hope it didn't come off like that. And the person didn't sound like they were accusing me of it, but I just want that to be received. Then Kimmy was like, there's nothing for me to comment on. Whatever public knowledge is public knowledge. But you keep talking. You keep talking like a dummy. The way, Kimmy, you are covering for him, or were covering for him in that scene, and now in interviews, is pathetic. It really is pathetic, because you're always the one explaining. Maurice benefits from this marriage. You do not. Him falling asleep at work, and you're like, and, sometimes he falls asleep at work because he stays and works late. Like, Maurice lost his own case and got owned in the middle. You want us to think he just worked so hard. Miss me. All right, now, him falling asleep at work and not being at work when you went over there, and you're like, well, I thought that was weird. You thought it was weird? No, bitch, it's suspicious. Okay, because I would think your first thought is to put out a search call. Okay? Nah, You were all in Mel's business and then continue to invite Martell to different events. You, Tisha, Marcel, Maurice, all of y'all. Where she was being forced to film or had to leave from filming because y'all kept playing those games. And now we see how dangerous he is. And many of us already suspected, because any of us who have known men like this, known about men like this, have had friends and relationships with men like this, knew what it could become. But y'all some pick-me bitches, all right? And we watched really some of the most heinous arguments and attacks on TV with Martell toward Melody while all y'all sat around and watched and enjoyed it because y'all were jealous of Mel. Now deal with your stuff. Anyway, Marcel and Tisha. Y'all stay... Y'all are all kind of dead to the bed. But they stay building a house that never comes to fruition. They stay doing it. So Tisha walked up the hill with 4-inch heels, like she didn't know that the house they were building was on a steep hill and not made for heels that way. This is what I'm talking about. Just stop playing with me. So Tisha's dumbass says she wants to send flyers out to all the neighbors and explain why they're building this mismatched house in the neighborhood. Marcel was like, the more you send out, the more they will complain. I agree with that. Sometimes you don't need to give people stuff on paper so they can take it out, start nitpicking it. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to pick up like, the property value of these neighborhoods, so on and so forth. And maybe everybody doesn't want to receive that. Sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes not understanding and what it means. But you don't go and give them the stuff, Tisha, you dumb. And he's absolutely right. Like he usually is when it comes to Tisha's BS. Y'all already gonna get pushback. Why are you adding to it, dummy? I have never used so many dummies in this review, but oh well. Tisha asked Marcel if he's talked to Maurice, I guess since his DUI. Marcel was like, yeah, we saw him the next day at Black. And she was like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, when he had drinks in his hand and he's up in everybody's live laughing and y'all talking about free Reese. Yes, because I saw it on social media. I wasn't even looking for it because I don't even follow them. She keeps trying to tell him what he needs to do to reach out to Maurice, probably because production was pushing her to do it. It's hard for me to believe this is the first time y'all have had this conversation. Marcel got annoyed and said, after 45 years, I'm annoyed that you're telling me he had to be a brother to my brother. I said, Tisha, go sit down somewhere. You are not even good for anything. So Destiny and Kimmy meet up, which is mind-blowing to me, especially how these bitches hated each other, then all of a sudden they friends. It's like that Cardi B. She hate me, you hate me, now all of a sudden they friends. Like, miss me. At some podunk shopping mall space that makes trophies, okay? No disrespect to the woman who had her little shop, but nevertheless. Destiny's broke ass decides to host an adult field day. And see, that, of course, is at the park. Because that's the place her and Martell go because that's what they can afford. Free. All right? Now, she explains that she wants to have conversations. Now Kimmy was dead on when she said conversations are usually when we get into trouble. And if conversations cause trouble, it's because there's always this unresolved tension. And if it's that consistent unresolved tension, y'all don't need to be around each other. Because when Maurice said he was 45, I was like, yeah, I mean, he looks 45, but it was also like, Maurice is older than him? And y'all say, what now? Anyway, so it takes Kimmy 2 minutes to tell Destiny that Mel said that she had been doing interviews that were kind of shady. Okay, because, you know, they can't wait to talk shit about Mel. That's what they do. Destiny looks confused and then says, and Kimmy was like, well, maybe she misread some of your comments. And Kimmy's being fake. We all know that. And she says, well, was it a jab or the truth? So what were you telling her you were sorry for? What were you trying to tell Martell she was so nice to me for? You want her attention that badly. Here's a hint. Be a better friend. And it seems a little too late now because now Mel just got trust issues because y'all keep turning y'all's back on her and treating her like shit when y'all get on this show. Nell, Stormy, Destiny. Anyway, Kimmy calls Mel basically to invite her to Destiny's event. Not because she volunteered it, but she might as well have by bringing her into the fray. Because Destiny doesn't have her number. I was like, and you ain't gonna get it. Now, how do you manage to go on a trip and vacation with someone on their dime and never had their number. That doesn't even seem safe to me. It just doesn't seem safe to me. Let me tell you. Okay. All right. I hope those Madani things finally work out for you. Production can give you Mel's number. I'm just playing it again. Then Kimmy was like, I shouldn't have gotten involved with this. You didn't have to, but you did. Just like you shouldn't have gone on that girls trip. I really hate girls trips. And stay home. Stay home because we don't need you. So Destiny told her she was blocked because it rained once and went to voicemail. I said she may just not have picked up. Maybe, but if so, Kimmy, you deserve it because you a fake ass bitch. Now, so Destiny asked Kimmy, how is Maurice? You should have known that was coming up. And Destiny said, I reached out to you, not to Maurice. And sometimes that makes sense. Like if you know one person better, but you just want to reach out, like whatever. She claims, well, I appreciate that because you and Martell were basically the only two. What does basically the only two mean? You talking about Tisha and Marcel too? Like who are you talking about? Kimmy, we know Mel invited you over to get the tea. That was obvious. You was just the dummy for going over there. Now you can't read Mel because see, she's not Tisha. She doesn't throw rocks and hide her hand. So she already told us she didn't reach out because y'all didn't reach out to her. And she wasn't hiding that, especially with those harassing communication texts that y'all all kept saying, well, maybe it really wasn't like that. Maybe Martell really didn't do that. Y'all didn't come to her aid. Y'all defended Martell without even provocation. Miss me. Y'all kept giving Martell benefit of the doubt. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Don't play with me. Anyway, so Destiny hosts Field Day with the cast minus Mel, Trish, and Ken. It would have been just as whack if Trish and Ken were there. Who cares? All right. Anyway, what does Destiny have on in that confessional with them silver shingles? Like she looks like she's going to like a church banquet, and and I have a feeling that dress goes down to the ankles, and that would be risque for the Kojic church because it'd be a little open here, but nobody else would be feeling it. Like Destiny, get it. Destiny, please stop getting that stuff that you can't even wash in a washer. I don't know what in the rainbow hell, but nevertheless, is it me or did we see Tisha in that peach workout outfit before? Now, I'm not saying this because I don't rewear the same clothes. I damn sure don't buy clothes to only wear them once over and over again. But see, I'm not on TV. Okay, I'm also not faking the funk. I'm also not talking about Scott Manor. I'm also not doing all this other shit. Okay, that's why I'm reading these people. Now you came back on my TV screen too soon. Okay, honestly, I don't want to hear your cigarette smoking voice. I don't want to see your geisha girl cosplay with them eyebrows. Miss me, okay? So Marcel made it clear in the confessional that a relationship with Martell is something he no longer values. When people are that straightforward in a sentence, although I'm hesitant to say because a lot of these people lie, he's done with you. He's done with you. All right, like he does, and he knows to stay on this show. He just has to keep at least some kind of communicative relationship with Mel. He don't need you for it. Destiny says they were all coming together to have fun. Since when? Y'all don't even like each other. Martell said you didn't bring the main person I'm always having problems with. I said she just said we're here to have fun. I said you son of a bitch. You just got found guilty for harassing communications. And this week, like this current week, it looks like you going back to jail for contacting Mel and asking her what she's doing at the DA's office because you're either following her or having somebody spy on her, both of which are examples of why you cannot be out. And I'm sorry, this is a form of abuse. I don't know if he ever hit Mel physically, but at the point in which you make somebody scared that they have to have security for them and their kids, and it's primarily not because she's on a TV show, but because of him, I have some serious concerns. And the rate at which his mother defends his ridiculous behavior is also telling of how she raised him. And sometimes people value the side chick, even men who are married, because their mother was one. Anyway, moving on. And the only reason why Martell would want beef with Mel in this group is because narcissists hate witnesses that call them out. And he knows everybody in that group will help him gaslight her. So get the fuck out of here. Then Martell points out that there's almost half and half in terms of people who have been arrested and who haven't. Yeah, y'all about even. Next. So Kimmy shows up late and says she tried to call and reach out to Mel about the field day. Is that why you late? You know damn well ain't why you late. And she says that Mel didn't respond and that considering her and Destiny's relationship, she doesn't think she will show up. That was so fake. And I was like, what about a husband who was convicted of harassing communications? Why do y'all always avoid saying what needs to be said about Martell? He is a danger to her. And is becoming increasingly a danger to you all with the way he talks about different things and lies, as we saw. And he sought to blackmail her with revenge porn like they didn't make a video as husband and wife. And honestly, I'm sure in his mind, because they had been having marital issues, he knew he could use this later or thought he could use it later. And I think, honestly, this even making it public, and not by public simply by the blogs, but by the fact that Mel had to even take this to court, speaks volumes about who Martell is as a father. Because you don't give a fuck that your kids can find this shit out, have to go to school and still deal with this because their mother had no choice but to take it to court. And the older they get, especially the girls, are going to resent you more and more and more. And your son deeply too, unless he becomes a narcissist like you. And I hope to God he doesn't. I'm not insinuating anything about the child, but I'm just making a point. Because at the point in which you are willing to expose their mother like that, you don't give a shit about them kids. Or you're showing you don't give a shit. All right, Kimmy, I'm done with you. So where did Destiny get those middle school PE jerseys from? Remember the ones we used to grab at, I think, and they always stunk? Oh my gosh. Anyway, was I the only one uncomfortable when Destiny told Martell he should have won musical chairs? And he was like, oh, if you win musical chairs, that actually is giving little D energy. And Destiny was like, you should have won it. And the way he like hit her so quickly, I mean, maybe they were playing, but it was just something about his hands up in her face. It made me uncomfortable. If y'all saw that and y'all felt that way, put it down in the comments. If y'all didn't, say that too, because that's what I saw. It actually made me nervous. I think that's why it was so unsettling. So then they sit down in the shed at the park. Okay, once again, something Destiny can afford. She done already spent money on the color printing of them index cards. Anyway, so that's when the shit starts. You know how it goes. Destiny decides she's going to bring questions to the group. Destiny, your whole life is a question. So I don't even know where you get off doing that. I really don't. Then he says, you remember those questions at my dinner table? And I was thinking to myself, like, what, 6 or 7 years ago? You can't help but to insinuate something negative about Mel every chance you get. Oh my gosh. So Destiny asked Martell, who out of this group, first of all, why would you even make this a question? Who out of this group has hurt you the most and how can you fix it? And then she says, other than the person who's not here. Destiny, you had a baby, went through a whole divorce, still ain't told us no real details on this show. It wouldn't be on here if Sonny and Moses didn't do that trash shit they did to you. And then you have the nerve to really act like Mel has done something to you. Even the kind of shit you brought up has not been like legit. And it just becomes clear, abundantly clear over and over again. Mel literally does not even have to show up or exist to be the star of this show. Y'all make her a topic even when she's not trying to be one. Don't y'all have some businesses to advertise for? Because that Madani and the trophy, I don't even know what you do. When you start talking about them butterfly sprays and mist, I was like, girl, bye. Don't body mist on grown women. Like, come on. But I mean, Destiny probably sells what she herself could afford. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that generally in business. I think more people should think like that. I just don't think Destiny is a business-minded person. But considering the kind of person Destiny is, I also can see her thinking she's too good to work certain kinds of jobs. And also not wanting to listen to her boss. Okay? And therefore, she became an entrepreneur. Anyway, so Martell claims, I'm a man. And then he starts bitching about who calls him when he's in trouble and who doesn't. And Destiny asked him to explain. She was like, oh, like that interview with Marcel. I was like, Destiny, how long were you in jail? How long were you arrested? And why did your baby daddy have that done? Anyway, I mean, we know why, but we need you to tell us. All right, so Marcel got right to it. He said, I lost respect for you when I saw the revenge porn issue. And they were like, well, why are you talking? He was like, why are you talking about it? He was like, I was asked about it. And then Martell tells us he didn't get arrested for revenge porn. So where's that coming from? I said, you low down dirty bastard. Motherfucker, it's coming from the blogs, the police reports. Stop playing semantics with harassing communications versus revenge porn. It was that. That's what the harassing communications was. He really expects people to disregard any ounce of intellect they have if it means ignoring his poor and ridiculous decisions. And I can't stand that. Like, the narcissistic abuse is ridiculous. Martell really needs to be fired at this point, because everything that comes out of his mouth is not only a lie, but it's a lie aimed to really do harm to Mel and her reputation. And it's working against y'all. It's working against y'all the same way everybody thought beating up on Nene Leakes would get her off the show that first season, Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's working against y'all the way Giselle and Robin and all the rest of them try to gang up on Monique. She became the crowd favorite. And Mel, the same thing. People were not feeling her the first season. When y'all gang up, it does not work. And my thing is, Martell should be fired. Why is he still on the cast? Kenya got fired for pictures she found on the internet. He actively did what he did and got found guilty in court. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just saying. So Marcel says, he lost respect for him. We get it. Martell is saying he didn't send a picture. Okay. So Marcel has the story wrong. He said, well, they asked me about it. And Martell said it wasn't a picture. I was like, it was. It was a screenshot of a video to blackmail Mel and pressure her into coming back to you. Like, why do you think, cut it out? If there is something that people are lying about and they're lying about, you will clear that shit up and explain exactly what happened. He just tries to put out lies in hopes that you'll get exhausted and not deal with it, because that's what narcissists do. Oh, they wouldn't dare call me out on this. That would be too embarrassing. They can count on your reason and your ability to read emotions to think, well, maybe they don't want to embarrass me or bringing up all the details. They take advantage of that, and we're seeing that play out on live TV. So Destiny was like, well, now that you've heard it's not true, now what, Marcel? Marcel was like, I don't even know if I believe Martell saying it's not true. You shouldn't. So, Marcel, my issue with you is that you act like you have less sense than you actually have. And what I mean by that is, because you were doing all that free Martell shit at the beginning of season 8, whatever it was, y'all know how this goes. And Mel went off on you and got you in your place, and you knew she was right, and you knew you were wrong. And now you're in Martell's space saying you don't respect him because of what was happening when you were talking about free Martell. See, and that's my problem with you. You should be consistent in that. And you act stupid on purpose. And I don't like that. I don't respect that. How about that? Damn. They a lot. So Destiny, your ex-husband and baby father had you arrested for utility bill shit. And now you believe in a lying sack of shit like Martell. You're going to end up in the same shit again. I can tell you that right now. Because you have not drawn enough lines in your life or boundaries. All right? And you know Martell is a liar. Woman to woman at best, you should stay out of it. So Marcel says Martell lies. We know. And Martell goes, what about? And so Marcel says that I slept with 20 women. Marcel ain't letting that go, and I don't blame him. Because you don't want that shit out in the street and your kids have to go to school and all that other shit. See, that's what happens when you care about your family. Whether we like Marcel or not, that's the point. You check that stuff. So then Martell jumps in and says that I can say you have slept with at least 20 women since you've been married. That's what I said. I said semantics. Semantics again. And Marcel said, well, it's a lie. That's what I mean. Addressing it and being clear. That's a lie. Now what? So Martell said, I bet you $50,000 is true. Marcel didn't flinch. He didn't mince words. He said, show me your $50,000. We all know you broke, and them garden plots you be opening up and fake building houses on that you can't sell. Even though you try to act like, oh, I respect Destiny, so that's why they sell that house to Moses after Moses told y'all they didn't want the house. Or Sonny told y'all they didn't want the house. Martell sounded like an 8-year-old boy with like those fake dollars you used to have when you were a kid. Talking about, nah, I got 50,000, I got 50,000. Huntsville's city government barely has $50,000, okay? Stop playing with us, Martell. Stop. All right? So, Marcel, he says, well, Marcel, I want to see your $50,000. Marcel said, I didn't bet you $50,000. Like, it was so ridiculous. And more of y'all should have called Martell out as a man. One, because he getting loud in public. I don't play that shit. Two, where is Mentor Nell and Fletcher that was so offended when Mel said last week that y'all weren't a mentor to her? Like, y'all can't fix it since y'all know everything and y'all got so up in your shoulders and shit about that last week. Since y'all done so much for people, I would think y'all could step in. See, you showed yourself. All right? Marcel, how do you know several women he's been with? And I don't mean the number. How do you know them? Because you're like, yeah, I can talk to them right now. You slept with them too? Why would you know them unless you're deeply connected to them in some shape, way, or form to have kept up with it? See, that's what I mean. You run your mouth too much. All right, so Marcel said Martell wants to keep talking about Marceau. He said, but if I get in Martell's business, Martell ain't gonna like it. I was like, he sure ain't, because we already know you probably know a lot more. Apparently, he has receipts of text messages and other information Martell has given him. And Martell strikes me as the kind that rage texts, right? Sends text that he cannot unsend, and it has a lot of shit, and Marceau is just letting it build up, build up, build up. Marceau brings up his girl, who he's messing with. And he was like, what girl? I ain't had no girl in 5 or 6 years. No, what you mean is I haven't had a wife. And you should have said your woman, because y'all be talking about grown women like we're girls, and it's not cool, okay? Your side chick gets on the internet and is happy when you push her near cow dung, okay, in a church hat, all right? That's the one he's probably talking about. Anyway, Martell goes to his car. I thought he was going to get a gun the way he and he goes and gets his cell phone. I said, you are such a bitch. He claims he has all the receipts. And Tisha and Marcel are both like, show it. Show it. Now, see, that's when you know you got a united front. Y'all are just in it together, regardless of what we think about them. They're like, show it. He was like, then he said, no, I'm not going to, because you don't have nothing to show. That shit is so whack. You mad that your marriage got messed up. You need to be mad at yourself, and you can't look yourself in the mirror. And it's going to be a long time before he does it. Anyway, that's all I got to say about this episode. But please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave stuff in the comments. I saw the piano lesson and I absolutely loved it because I love August Wilson's play. Maybe I'll come on and talk about it, but I'm not sure yet. Anyway, talk to y'all soon. Bye.